What's up, everybody? This is Tostemac, and today for this Friday video, we're going to be jumping back into Overwatch, because today we're going to be looking at a particular character you see right here, called SYMMETRA. But I won't be talking about this character alone. I have someone with me. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Good evening, YouTube! It is I, QuickHakker. Hello.
Wow, that was loud. Okay. That's alright.
Sorry, I'm using a better microphone than the previous attempt.
Yeah, it's cool, it's cool. Okay, so some of you may be wondering, why are we back on Overwatch? Didn't you just do an Overwatch video? Well, this is about a certain article that popped up a few weeks ago that I feel like I would really like to talk about, since it is like Autism Awareness Acceptance Month and whatnot. And the article that we're talking about basically tells us that SYMMETRA here has autism. So QuickHakker, would you like to talk about where this came from?
Well, there is a comic, as Overwatch do. They love giving us lore.
Oh, those are amazing.
Yeah, the comics are just really well done. If you haven't read them, go to comic.playoverwatch.com and just read them all.
I'll leave a link in the description below.
They are just brilliantly done. Today, though, we are looking at a specific section of one of the comics, which somebody on Reddit actually noticed this originally. One of the panels has the following quote: "Sanjay has always said I was different. Everyone has asking where I fit on the spectrum." And him and his brother led on to think, hold on, this wasn't the only evidence that they had, but it's one that
one of the biggest.
One of the biggest pieces of evidence that really actually helps me see her as autistic. This character seems to have autistic traits. Could she be autistic? So they wrote in a letter to Overwatch team, and Jeff Kaplan replied, and I believe you have
the reply. I have the letter right here. So basically, the letter says, let me get it. Darn it. Sorry, it was me dropping my phone, sorry. So it says, "Dear Samuel, I am so glad Overwatch is providing a great way for you and your brother to bond. Nothing warms our hearts more than hearing stories like yours. I'm glad you asked about SYMMETRA. It was very astute of you to notice that she mentioned the spectrum in our comic. SYMMETRA is autistic. She is one of our most beloved heroes, and we think she does a great job of representing just how awesome someone with autism can be. Thank you so much for taking the time to write to me. I really enjoyed your letter and will share it with the rest of the team. Wishing you and your brother many fun games of Overwatch." So, with that one letter, so they've confirmed, for the first time ever, there has been a video game character who officially has autism. Now, some of you may be thinking, okay, why is this such a big deal? Here's the thing though, we have seen people or individuals in animes and video games with TV shows with disabilities, and most of the time they're given like supernatural powers or an awesome edge to compensate for their weakness. Like Avatar: The Last Airbender, they had Toph, who could do earth bending at a master level and even invent metal bending, but she's blind and can't see the normal way that other people can. Then there's like Charles Xavier from the X-Men, who has the ability to read people's minds at an incredible rate, but he is in a wheelchair and can't move around that well on his own. So we've seen people with disabilities before, but go ahead.
Well, on the flip side, in certain TV shows over here in England, there have been people who have non-mental disabilities that seem to be grossly misjudged, and we're talking
more like misrepresented.
Misrepresented in their disability, to which everyone misrespects and misinterprets when you say this individual has autism. Case point for me, if you've actually watched any of my content where I've got a camera pointing at me, you may have noticed one of my eyes is slightly more open than the other. Cut long back of the head didn't develop properly when I was in the womb.
Right. So
yeah.
back to the subject at hand.
Digression?
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
So this is like around the first time that that someone has actually been confirmed to have autism, and I have to be honest, I don't really know Symmetra 100%. When I played as her a few times, I thought to myself, well, this seems like a normal character. I never really imagined someone like Symmetra having autism. But if you think about it, with some of the higher functioning levels like Asperger's syndrome, it's not that easy to spot. It's not like you could look at someone and go, oh, this person has autism. So, QuickHakker, why don't you mention like some of the signs and traits that may have pointed to Symmetra having autism?
Again, referring to the said comic on the Overwatch website, on the first page, she is actually talking in a boardroom meeting kind of situation, and out of the corner of her eye, she notices a picture, which is slightly crooked. Now, a person who is NT would just...
That's short for neurotypical.
Yep, sorry, I forgot not everyone knows abbreviations and stuff.
It's alright.
It would be a case of, oh, just leave it and let them do it, it might be their own thing. But Symmetra actually thinks to herself, this picture is crooked, sloppy, how can I tolerate that? And she goes to fix it herself in the middle of said meeting.
Yeah, that actually shows like a couple things. One is like she's very organized and likes things to be neat and tidy. That could lead to autism. But also like the idea of her just getting up and fixing it herself rather than socializing and asking someone to go up and fix it. Like, it's kind of things that I've noticed for me. Like, I like keeping things like organized in a way that can be easily accessed. And also at the same time, when I want to fix something, I don't necessarily like wait or ask permission. I just most of the time go around to fix it unless it's something I really, really don't know how to do. I would just like do it myself. So it kind of shows like kind of the lack of socializing in that part. So that could be like a significant sign. So what else have you noticed? Was there anything else?
There are a few quotes that are in her voice lines, which currently I can't bring up right now because my laptop would metaphorically die if I tried to.
Mm-hmm.
On her bio on the hero page at the top is the true enemy of humanity is disorder, again linking back to the previous point. But there's another nugget of information which is viewable in game now. If you go to her hero gallery section, it'll say Symmetra literally bends reality by manipulating hard light constructs. She crafts the world as she wishes it to be in hopes of engineering the perfect society. And I just realized parts of that actually rhyme.
Yeah, nice. So, yeah, I can kind of relate to that too because I often daydream a lot and like there's a whole world going on inside my head that I want to bring into fruition. So that could also lead to like kind of the daydreaming aspect of an autistic individual. So, yeah, so if you look real hard, the traits are there, but they're not really as noticeable, which is accurate for someone with high functioning autism and whatnot. So as you can see, in terms of autistic people, Symmetra really represents that well. Like, she's her own character, and while she has autism, it doesn't really become a hindrance. It plays to her advantage.
Yeah. And there is actually one thing that you actually pointed out in our last attempt.
Yeah.
Her default skin, and actually most, if not all of her skins, even the Devi and Goddess skin, are really simple, basic colours.
Yeah.
There might be a few more advanced colours, but they are still simple in design. Even the I've not got it on the screen, but the
I can
Chinese
pull it up.
New Year one.
Yeah,
The
that
Chinese
one.
New Year one.
Yeah, it's very complex. There's a lot of patterns, but at the same time, the color scheme is very like simplistic.
Simple.
So
Even that.
yeah, it could be like another sign. So another question that has to be asked is, okay, there's an autistic character in a video game now. What does this mean for the future, like in terms of like the gaming community, but also like the video gaming community, but also the autistic community as well? What does that necessarily mean? What do you think?
Well, if anyone wants to make any good games, not necessarily a bad game doesn't include it,
Right.
but whole new look at autism and autistics as well. Because saying autism is just talking about the thing.
It's a very broad subject, so there's like multiple signs on the spectrum.
It's a spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why the person supplied the link in the Blizzard comic, because she says about spectrum and the other bits of information that, from observation, we've picked up on.
Right.
Hopefully a lot of good, because if Blizzard can manage to get not only a good, well-built game, a really good, well-built lore, but great characters that have a diversity of not only ages, genders, sexual orientations, but now autism, and who knows what else anyone else has got in the team, because there are literally thousands of things that happen in your head daily, whether you be an NT or suffering any other mental problems. And I'm saying suffering in air quotes because you might be coping, you might not be.
Yeah, I mean, this is like Blizzard and whatnot, so they really did a good job. So hopefully other game developers might actually learn a thing or two in terms on how to represent certain personalities and certain characteristics, but at the same time, it's something you gotta really be careful about, right?
Yeah, because if you do it wrong, you're, especially on something as
sensitive.
Well, I'm also doing new in air quotes because it's only been around for a few hundreds, I want to say, years.
Right.
And people are just like being so tetchy about it, like, oh, autistic, stay away from me. Oh, I don't want my child getting autism. I don't want them vaccinated.
Yeah, there's like a lot of misrepresentations and misunderstandings that have people really scared about autism. Like the idea of like it's the end of the world if someone has autism, or if like the stupid theory of vaccinations causing autism, which by the way, it doesn't. But also like, sorry, just trying to think. So there are so many things that can go wrong in terms of representing personality that a lot of people receive a lot of hate for it. Like Autism Speaks, for example, they've been getting a lot of hate recently because they treat autism as something of a problem, like something that needs to be cured, as they say, which is not really the case, right?
Yeah. Like, if you go on to, again, on Reddit, you will find that they do not like Autism Speaks, because to have something cured is disease. And again, I'm putting air quotes on both of those.
Right.
Because autism, although it's different from what you consider normal, again in air quotes, it's not really a disease.
Right, it's just...
Or it's nothing to be cured.
Right, it's just a disability being born differently, that's all. And so they've been getting a lot of hate for that, but also their symbol, the blue puzzle piece and whatnot, which is actually interesting because in a previous video that I did, one of the autism vlogs talks about the history of the puzzle piece. The puzzle piece actually started out as like a dark black and green puzzle piece with a weeping child to show it in a more depressing light. Now granted, back then people didn't really know that much about autism, so it's understandable, but we're at a day and age where we can see that people with autism can not only cope just as well as a neurotypical, but they can also excel as well. So the idea of autism need to be cured or a big problem is really an insult to those within the autistic community.
In fact, I've actually heard that certain companies will prefer to employ people who are on the autistic spectrum.
Oh yeah, I talked about that too. Like Home Depot, there's Microsoft that's doing it.
I think it was probably from you and somebody in Coventry, for those people who live in England. Computer training company, if you're wondering. Basically, they were like certain people on the spectrum, because of their narrow-minded, they focus in on the one thing. They focus in on the job. They can do it. I'm not saying better, quicker, or whatnot.
Right.
But for me personally, if I say I will look at the different methods of upgrading, which is easier, whether it be easier case of financially, or whether it be because of whatever reason, I find out the easiest, which usually means me spending more money.
Yeah, so with the way that people within the autistic community are moving up in the world these days, we're seeing a lot more than being represented in different areas. Like Sesame Street released a new character, Julia, I believe, that has autism, and now with SYMMETRA being confirmed to have autism. So things are really looking up for the autistic community these days.
To backpedal slightly, on our previous recording, which we had to scrap for reasons, you actually mentioned that her default skin is a similar colour of blue to
that's
Autism
right.
Speaks, which then led me to look at the other skins.
Yeah, so I actually mentioned that the original SYMMETRA outfit, I'll put the image up here, is mostly like different shades of blue, and I was wondering if that was like coincidental, because with the blue puzzle piece symbol or hashtag light it up blue and whatnot, I was wondering if it was connected or intentional, or if it was just mere coincidence that SYMMETRA just happened to have a blue outfit at the time. So you mentioned you were looking into that?
Yeah, I don't think it's coincidental. I'll post on the subreddit. I'll probably try and find the actual thing.
Right.
I'll tweet at the Overwatch team. But I highly doubt that anything that Blizzard do are coincidental. Because if you also watch Gaijin Goomba, who actually looks more in details in the skins, more for the cultural backgrounds than like autism or any other reason.
Right.
But it is just too perfect. It's not even really coincidental anymore when you see something that Blizzard do that just happens to like the autism symbol, the autism colors, like the basic 2-3 colors, not advanced, not overstimulating. Because I'm not saying this for all autistics,
right,
or even that many of them, but there are some that actually are puzzled, baffled, overwhelmed, overstimulated when they're receiving lots of like colors. I can imagine that them having just a basic room with a bed, a table, and a light, basic colors, nothing advanced or ridiculously overwhelming.
Yeah, so it could be for more the sake of simplicity rather than anything else. So we're actually coming to near the end of this special video. QuickHakker, do you have any final thoughts on this?
Only the fact that Blizzard are amazing.
Oh yeah, they're genius.
Yeah. Because just the way they implement SYMMETRA and the whole... Again, with the, just dropping in a fact about a hero, Tracer being homosexual or bisexual for all we know.
Right.
Like that, didn't really change her as a character. She is still Lena Tracer Oxton.
Right, so just because of a certain personality, that doesn't change the whole character in general. It's just something additional, really.
Yeah, likewise, Satya SYMMETRA Vaswani is still who she is, so what if she's got a label? We all, at some point in our lives, will have or have had labels on us.
Right, but that doesn't necessarily define who we are as a whole.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, so that was a pretty good conversation. So what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Do you think what do you think about Symmetra having autism and how it affects her as a character, and what does this mean for the future of video games and the autistic community? So feel free to let us know.
Video games, but media.
Well, yeah, that too. So all in all, Blizzard really did a good job in terms of like how to portray autism as part of a characteristic. So yeah, really looking forward to more stuff like this in the future. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you, QuickHakker, for joining in on this video.
No problemo.
Oh, and also, if you want to see more of QuickHakker's stuff, feel free to check out his channel too. I'll leave a link to there as well.
Yeah, and I'll probably be, hopefully, doing some Borderlands stuff on my PS4 soon.
Alright.
And the funny thing is, I've got fellow YouTubers sat in listening to the conversation, so he's probably looking at me thinking, you better do it.
It's like, there, you better do it. You have any idea how long I've been waiting?
The funny thing is, he can't hear you. I can. And I'm looking at him, and I can actually imagine that being his thought pattern as well.
Well,
he's now looking at me slightly nervous because he doesn't know what you've just said.
hey, random YouTuber guy, you're weird. That's why I can say whatever I want and he'll never ever know.
But, you know I'm going to send him a link to this video when it's up, right?
Yeah, by then it'll be too late. There won't be anything you can do about it.
That's true.
So I'm going to let you go before more of the paranoia sinks in. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and until the next video, see you later.
Bye-bye.
God, that sounded like Thomas just now.